Hey y'all, I'm Trez, and today I thought I would talk about a very exciting topic: hospital beds. And the reason I'm bringing this up is I was just thinking, just reflecting on life the other day, and I was just thinking about the decision that I made for my mother, um, and when we purchased a hospital bed for her. She had been living in a assisted living facility and got ill and went to the hospital, and then she had a couple months stay in rehab to get her strength back. And what we found out when she was in the rehab facility was that the where she was living she hated. She couldn't stand it. She'd only been there a few months. It was a facility that she had told us when she was younger that that's where she wanted to go if she had to move into assisted living. And but anyway, we found out she just really hated it. So we decided that um, when she uh, when she graduated from rehab, that either we would move her back home and get more help for her, or we would find a assisted living facility different than where she had been. And so anyway, when it time and what we decided to do is that home living at home just was not an option because we just couldn't get we felt like the medical care for her 24/7 that she really needed. So we found a another assisted living facility that she was familiar with, and and decided to move her there. And so the new facility was had smaller rooms than where she was before, so she just had one room. So we decided that we felt like getting a hospital bed for her was the right decision. They were it took up less space, so she could still have a small sitting area and her bed in the same room, and still have enough room to move around with a walker. And so we researched hospital beds, talked to different people, looked on Amazon, and decided to go with a local company that specialized in medical equipment, and that way um, they could deliver it and set it up for us because we really didn't have transportation to be moving around a hospital bed. And so we got a really what I considered a very nice consumer grade hospital bed. It was electric, so the feet and the head and the foot could actually be elevated for comfort level, but it still had the footboard and the headboards of a ugly hospital bed. But anyway, it fit well in her room, and so we got it installed, and we bought. We had to buy sheets for it because the mattresses on hospital beds are longer than your standard twin size bed. They're kind of like the length you would have in your college dorm beds. Those tend to be a lot longer for whatever reason. And so anyway, we had that set up for her, and it had sides that we could raise so it was safer. That way she wouldn't roll out of bed and have an accident. And so we thought we had made a great decision. And what we found out was after she'd been living there for a couple of weeks, one of the brothers three was with her one weekend, and she told him how much she hated that bed, and that the sides made it difficult for her to even get into bed, and really difficult to make her bed. And she was a very big stickler on how her bed was made. So every day when they came in and did her bed, she would go in behind them and make it the way she wanted to have it made. um, that was mom. So anyway, long story short, she when she passed away, uh, we were clearing out her room and taking stuff home or finding places for her stuff. And what we found out was that once you buy a hospital bed, it's yours. The nonprofits do not want hospital beds. Assisted living facilities do not want hospital beds. They can't use them. They can't provide bedding for residents. That's what they told me anyway. And in their license areas where they have like their skilled nursing or their long-term care units that have hospital beds, those beds need to be commercial quality, um, hospital quality beds. You can't use a consumer hospital bed in a licensed facility. So we had no place. We had no place to take this bed or any way to get it there. So we had to dispose of it, and we just asked the facilities manager to please clean up the room. Whatever's there, you can have it. Throw it away. We don't care. But we just had nowhere to go with that bed. So my advice is, when you have a loved one, and I know emotions tend to take over, and you may think you're making the best decision for them, and by getting a hospital bed because it has sides that can help them from having an accident and rolling out of bed at night. But a hospital bed, that's not the bed they're used to sleeping in, and it may actually hurt their emotional well-being versus helping their emotional well-being. And in hindsight, I feel like I guided the brothers three in probably the wrong decision for my mom. I feel like if we had brought over one of her twin beds and maybe just gotten a heavy duty mattress cover to just keep it more sanitary, I think mom would have been more comfortable. She didn't have any trouble, rolling out of bed or anything like that. She slept very, very well, and I think she would have been happier if we had just stuck with bedding that we knew. And if we needed a side, you can buy these kits where the pieces go underneath the mattress, and you have sides on each side. It's not as sturdy when you look at it. You go, oh my gosh, this won't help. This isn't as good as a hospital bed. Well, maybe you don't need a hospital bed. You never know, but then you're stuck with an anchor when the use for that bed is over, and then you have problems disposing of it. So this is just my quick word to the wise or otherwise. I know when you love someone, you're trying to do what you think is best, but ask other people. Maybe a hospital bed is the wrong decision. You never know. So anyway, that's my tip of the day on hospital beds. If you're in that position, I hope you make the best decision for your loved ones. I hope you have a great day.